tomorrow in Houston. I think that the Oakland Raiders actually do have what it takes to pull out a win in the playoffs. It's backup quarterback against should-be backup quarterback. And even though Connor Cook has almost no experience, I still think that Jack Del Rio's guys, that it's a very prideful locker room, that they don't want to go out with a whimper this offseason. I think they believe in what they've built. I know I certainly do. And I think they find enough tomorrow to get a win. So give me the Raiders winning their playoff game, a road team tomorrow, finding a way to pull it out. I will say, I think the Texans' defense is very, very good. But I got a feeling that there's more oomph, there's more guts on the Raider side of things to find a win tomorrow in Houston with an organization that doesn't know if it's going to keep its coach after a playoff season, 2 straight playoff seasons and division titles. Also, tomorrow, you've got Detroit heading to Seattle. You know what? A lot of people think this is going to be a blowout. I don't necessarily believe that. I think that the Seahawks are slightly overrated going into this game because of all of the success they've had at home over the years, especially in the playoffs. They haven't played great at home this year. They have almost been done in at home a couple of times. They had some close wins. Also, that offensive line has been kind of a shell of what it used to be, at least when they won the Super Bowl a couple of years ago. And I think the Seahawks minus Earl Thomas are just not nearly as dangerous as they could have been with him. The Richard Sherman distraction stuff is very weird as well. Now, the Lions aren't as good a team as the Seahawks are. And going into that building, if you said Matthew Stafford was 100%, I'd give them a better shot. I know he's not. Also, the Lions losing their last 3 games against playoff foes doesn't make me feel any better. They lose to the Giants. They lose to the Cowboys when Dallas has nothing to play for. And then also losing at home to the Packers. So I feel like it's kind of the same thing. You'll see a good first half. And then I would imagine, I think the Seahawks will pull away in the second half and Seattle moves on to win. On Sunday, the early game on CBS is Miami taking on Pittsburgh at Heinz Field. Again, a little bit of what I talked about with Detroit. If you told me I was going to have a 100% healthy Ryan Tannehill going to Heinz Field, I would give the Dolphins a shot. Remember, earlier in the season, Pittsburgh went to Miami and lost badly 30-15. We didn't see that one coming because the Dolphins were 1-4 at that point in time, and the Steelers were a Super Bowl contender. A lot has changed, though, since then. At that point in time, Tannehill was healthy. That was the game. Pittsburgh's Ben Roethlisberger also got hurt. Things are different now. No Tannehill. Matt Moore in. Injuries along the defensive secondary for the Miami Dolphins. And on top of it, you've got a Steelers team with a healthy Ben feeling good about themselves. Here's the only way the Dolphins win this game is by the recipe that they won back early in the season in October. Jay Ajayi ran for more than 200 yards in that game, and they held Le'Veon Bell to 50 yards in that game. That's the only way they keep this thing close, is if the Dolphins completely shut down Le'Veon Bell with Cameron Wake, with Ndamukong Suh in that front seven, and Jay Ajayi goes off, which is possible because the one thing I worry about with the Steelers in the playoffs is their defense. I'm very worried about their defense. I think they've got the offensive firepower to go to Foxborough or Kansas City and win. I don't like their defense, though. But I think they do enough on Sunday to come out with a victory. Last time I looked at it, it was a 10-point line. That's too big for me, too rich for my blood. I think the Dolphins can stay within double digits, but not much more. Give me the Steelers and the win there. And then finally, the game of the weekend, which is Giants and Packers on Sunday late afternoon. The Giants' defense is phenomenal. And we'll discuss Bart Scott's take with me on my show later on in this program. But earlier in the week, he said that the Giants' defense is wildly overrated, that this is a terrible matchup for them. And it might be a bad matchup just from the standpoint that the Giants love Jonathan Hankins and Damon Harrison in the middle. And if you go up-tempo, spread them out with Aaron Rodgers, those guys are potentially tired, exhausted, or off the field. And those are 2 of the Giants' best. But remember, the Giants also have maybe the best secondary in all of football. Okay? They have Janoris Jenkins and DRC, Dominique Rodgers-Cromartie, have played like Pro Bowlers this year. They also have maybe the best safety in football right now in Landon Collins. They have a nickelback in Eli Apple that's been fantastic as well. And that's the key to shutting down or at least slowing down Aaron Rodgers in the attack. The problem is, I think the Giants lack of offense, specifically lack of offensive line, is going to do in the G-Men. Eli Manning has played poorly all season long, and that is because of one reason and one reason only: shaky offensive line play. When Eli gets solid offensive line play, that means he gets solid ground game. If he gets a solid offensive line and solid ground game, Eli is very good in big spots. When it's a bad offensive line, his footwork goes, he throws off his back foot, he throws in a double and triple coverage, and he locks in on one receiver, in this case, Odell Beckham. You watch. On Sunday, the Giants defense will attempt to play its guts out, but Eli is going to end up throwing at least 2 bad balls off of his back foot into double coverage, the last of which will get intercepted in the red zone. And the Giants are going to lose that game. Give me the Packers to win as well and to move on into the divisional round.